Hi Tim, very nice to hear you speak today.
Thank you.
Just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your business.
Sure. So key message is the name of the business, and we give fun and engaging presentations about the futures of just about every industry.
And you gave some very helpful tips today. So what are some of your favourite tips and pieces of advice for new startup businesses?
Well, the big message of today was there were three trends that I talked about. The first was the power of small, the second was the barriers are collapsing, and the third is the wisdom is in the group. But what it was really all about is how if you have a big idea and you'd like to pursue it, it's not likely to cost as much as you imagine. If you do it right, I mean, the cost of executing big ideas is falling dramatically. There are more people that are ready to help you than you could ever imagine possible. And frankly, it's not going to take as long as perhaps you imagined. So let's go through those individually. So the first is, it's not necessarily going to cost as much. So the power of small. So that's all about things aren't necessarily going to cost as much as you imagine. And we've seen examples like the Pebble on Kickstarter, a product that is being sold to literally thousands of people before it even exists. So finance can even come from your customers. Or really great marketing ideas like the example I gave today, which was a running map at a shoe store that got me into the store and talking to the staff, and it would have cost about 10 cents to print. So some of the best ideas around growing businesses and marketing costing upfront very little in finance. So the second point is there's more people that are prepared to help you with your business than you can possibly imagine. And that is the wisdom is in the group. Literally, one of my friends, Scott Pape, wrote a book called The Barefoot Investor. And his book is all about finance. And Richard Branson, who's been so successful in business and finance, gave the book a quote it's approximately this: "If you only read one book on finance, let this book be it." And I said to Scott, "How did you get Richard Branson to endorse your book?" And you know what his answer was? He asked Richard Branson for the endorsement. He wrote an email and said, "Would you be prepared to endorse my book?" And Richard Branson said yes. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So the opportunity here is that if you do have someone that you'd like to be a mentor, a coach, a leader, an advisor for you in your business, and they're connected to the web, reach out and ask. And I really, one thing that I've seen in my life and in my business is that just about anyone I turn to ask for advice, they come back, and the wisdom is in the group, and people love to be an advisor. So that's the second point. And the third point is it doesn't necessarily need to take as long as you like. A lot of people think $1 million idea requires $1 million. Well, I've already debunked that. They think, well, it could take years and years to develop. That may be true, but what we're starting to see is business models shrinking so that the execution is elegant, it's light, and it takes place over, say, months, not years. And so with those thoughts in mind, it's a pep talk for entrepreneurs to get out there and pull the trigger. If they've got a great idea, it's not going to necessarily be expensive. There are people there to help you. And you know what? If you're lucky, it doesn't necessarily need to take a lifetime to realize either.